What's up, fellow tamers and liberators? It's your boy, High Score Chef. I just got back from the kitchen, and let me tell you, I have been cooking with an all-new Mastemon deck profile. World Convergence has finally happened, and Digimon card game is now officially unified across the entire globe. Because of this, deck building will be even more crucial because now we no longer have that convenience of foresight into the Japanese meta and be able to build decks based on their meta any longer. We are all in the dark, so to speak, moving forward. But don't worry, when it comes to rogue decks like Mastemon, you know you can always count on me, High Score Chef, your boy, with the hottest deck lists around. So let me serve you up the new and improved Mastemon deck profile, hot and fresh, straight out of the kitchen. Alright everyone, here we are. Not gonna waste any more time, let's just jump right into it. I know how excited you were for this. I still prefer purple base as it has much more tools to work with in terms of building trash, deck draws, and memory gaining, which means our Digitama has got to be the starter deck, Niaromon. 4 copies, only running 4 eggs because you want to see this Niaromon. The inheritable skill to draw 1 and trash 1 from hand during attack while we have a yellow Digimon will help us with gathering our combo pieces, both into our hands and trash. I also have to always mention that this inherit skill is not a once per turn effect, so as long as you can unsuspend, you can do it again. For level 3 rookies, we've upped our ratios this time around and are now working with 10. Count them, 10 rookies! Mastemon is a DNA deck that revolves around level 5s, so ratios for this deck are going to be different since we need the deck space to have more copies of them over everything else. These 10 rookies are going to help with maintaining a level of consistency for the deck to start its engine and start making these Mastemon plays. Starting us off will be 2 copies of BT21 Salamon, a great dual-colored yellow and purple level 3 Digimon with the ability to digivolve off of any Niaromon egg, as well as the ability to digivolve into a Ganomon in our trash. Help set up our initial level 5 setup for our Mastemon to come into play this way. I also have to note how great this card is for counterplays. Being able to evolve into the Holy Beast straight Ganomon in trash and then just climb straight into our level 5 Angel piece is incredibly strong, factoring in the fact that you already have your Mirai Tamer set in play. Can easily help start a counter-offensive against your opponent to take back control of the game. The during your turn inheritable to reduce all your opponent's security Digimon by a total of 3,000 is also great to have too, if you happen to check into security without having access to Alliance. So even though you don't get that DP buff and extra check, you will at least be able to increase your odds of surviving a check with that reduction in their security. Our next level 3 is going to be another Salamon, and it is in fact 2 copies of the EX6 variety. At the start of your main phase, you can gain a memory just by simply having either a purple Digimon or Tamer in play. It may not sound like a lot, but for Mastemon, it's everything since this deck relies heavily on expensive play cost cards in order to make our plays. Just like its BT21 counterpart, it too can evolve off of any Niaromon egg for free. The when attacking once per turn effect in its inheritable to inflict 2000 DP to an opponent's Digimon also helps delete any unwanted floodgates that might hinder our combos, or just make it so we can attack over something we needed. One copy of BT8 Psychmon. Still a solid floodgate, which stops players from reducing play costs. A very strong floodgate and out against decks like Royal Knights, which are very relevant still in the meta, so don't ever leave home without one. It can also help you play into Crosshearts and Hunters, seeing those definitely got a lot of support this set with the World Convergence, so you may definitely run into some Crossheart as well as Hunter decks. 4 copies of BT11 Ignite-mon. One of the reasons to play purple base, it gives you access to this one specific rookie. Has a when attacking effect to delete one of your own Digimon in order to delete one of your opponent's side with the level equal to or less than the one you deleted yourself. It may not come up too often to where you'll have to make it play like this, but when it comes up, you'll be glad it did, especially against decks that may play out token Digimon. But the real reason we want to play this maximum copies of this Ignitemon is for the memory gain. The inherited effect lets us gain 1 memory back per turn when we play another Digimon by effect. One thing Mastemon truly suffers from, and is keeping it from being a true contender in the competitive space, is its lack of memory efficiency. We play a lot of Digimon by effect in this deck, and so Ignitemon will be your absolute best friend. Our final rookie of the deck is the BT8 Candlemon. We obviously can't run 5 copies of Ignitemon, so the 1 copy of this Candlemon is perfect for more extra memory gain where we need it. Just keep in mind that Candlemon's inherited effect to gain a memory is only for when a purple colored Digimon is played by effect. So be sure to keep this in mind when making plays and doing combos to ensure no misplays occur, and you can take advantage of the extra memory gain to its fullest. Our level 4 champions are going to be the same as always. 8 in total. 4 copies of the starter deck Gatomon, and 4 copies of the EX6 Gatomon, each one built for deck search, in order to find our combo pieces to get into our Mastemon plays as fast as possible, or to ensure we have cards in our hands to have that constant threat presence of an ace counterplay. Starting with the Gatomon from starter deck, 10 has the ability to Digivolve on a yellow or purple level 3 Digimon. Also has an on-play skill, which lets us search the top 3 cards of our deck for any 1 purple and yellow Digimon card. This one is definitely the better of the 2 by miles. It also allows us to Digivolve into our Angelomon or Lady Devimon for 2 less memory, and gives us the ability to DNA into a Mastemon at the end of the turn. EX6 Gatomon has its own merits as well. Also has the capability to Digivolve into any yellow or purple level 3. Although its on-play when Digivolving can't let us grab 2 Digimon cards compared to the starter deck one, it does allow us to at least search out 1 Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel trait Digimon, as well as 1 Mirai Mikagura Tamer card, which is vital to our game plan as a whole. Has the same inherited effect as the EX6 Salamon, which allows us to further decrease an opponent's Digimon by another 2000 DP. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I can't stress to you how much I love and enjoy playing this deck, and it makes me happy knowing that there are many others out there that share the same love for Mastemon as much as I do. Our level 5s are up next, so just like our Gatomon, almost all of our level 5s we use will also be able to Digivolve off of a yellow or purple Digimon. As far as ratios go, 12 has always been the bare minimum requirement for this deck. Anything less than that tends to make the deck not function, and ultimately be too slow, which is what you want to avoid at all costs. 14 level 5s is at most the maximum. It really depends on your overall playstyle. If you aren't too reliant on option cards or any tech choice cards, you can for sure apply those extra slots to playing more level 3s, 4s, or 5s in order to be closer to a more traditional ratio style deck. At the end of the day, you're still making a big stack. DNA decks just take a different road to get there. For me though, I keep it an even 6-6 ratio split between both yellow and purple pieces. Starting with Angelomon, I'm running 3 copies of EX6 Angelomon, an incredibly strong version of everyone's favorite Archangel with a level of support Mastemon so desperately needed in order to speed up the deck. Has the on-play or when Digivolving effect to play out a Mirai Mikagura Tamer card from our hand if we don't already have one in play. However, if we do, Angelomon will now instead inflict a nasty -2 security checks to any one of your opponent's Digimon until the end of their next turn. We also get the added benefit of more aggressive plays with its inherited effect, which gives our Mastemon stack access to Alliance. Getting a potential massive DP boost and an extra security check for the attack is huge and makes our top-end Digimon that much more intimidating to deal with. Now, previously I did run the max 4 copies, but with the inclusion of the new promo Mastemon, I had to make space for another specific Angelomon. Making her return, I decided to put back in the BT15 Angelomon Ace at 1 copy. Shoutouts to, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, RC Aramadana 6456. Sorry if I butchered your name, bud, but thank you so much for the friendly suggestion. After getting some thorough playtesting, an Anjumamon Ace as a standalone Digimon on your field while the promo Mastemon is out helps a lot with maintaining your security stack numbers. So it doesn't feel as bad trashing our own security card to play out an extra body. Anjumamon Ace will recover us back one card so long as we have 3 or fewer in our security when it occurs. The on-play, when digivolving effect to trash either our top or bottom security card to inflict minus 6,000 DP on an opponent's Digimon is also a nice ability to have as well. Gives us an out against any level 4s or potential level 5s our opponent may have already set up. Friendly reminder that this Anjumamon is an ace card, so there is the risk of overflow minus 3 memory when she leaves the area. Our final 2 slots of Anjumamon goes to the BT21 variant. Great abilities to search our own security for any Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel trait Digimon to add to our hand. If a card was added this way, we get to recover 1. And that's not all. Also has a once per turn during our turn to gain a memory if we play a Lady Devimon or Mirei Mikagura Tamer, and a strong inherited effect to give all of our Angel, Archangel, and Fallen Angel Digimon the blocker ability, so long as we have a purple Digimon in play. You all know the saying, chat? There can't be light without darkness. Dive into the darkness with me as I cover the ratios for our level 5 Lady Devimon. Starting us off will be 2 copies of BT21 Lady Devimon. Its when digivolving effect lets us trash any 1 card from our hand in order to return an Angel, Archangel, Fallen Angel trait Digimon, or a Mirei Mikagura Tamer card from our trash back into our hand. It's still a great tool to have in order to build our trash with specific pieces for our combos and plays, or to recover back our Mastemon. The inherited effect to essentially give all of our Angel traded Digimon retaliation during our opponent's turn while we have a yellow Digimon in play also is a great pressure tool to have. Makes your opponent think twice about attacking into our Digimon. Next up, we have 3 copies of EX6 Lady Devimon. Just like its counterpart Anjumamon, it too has the ability to set up a Mirei Mikagura Tamer with its on-play when digivolving effect. However, it plays it from the trash rather than from our hand. But if you already have a Mirei Mikagura Tamer is set in play, you get to instead delete a level 4 or lower Digimon on your opponent's side of the field. The inherited skill for Scapegoat will also be a great help to protect our Mastemon from potentially leaving the battle area by deletion. Just be sure to have plenty of other Digimon in play in order to have a target to sacrifice in order to do so. Our final Lady Devimon is a bit different. I've always slept on the idea and its potential application with a Mastemon deck ever since it was released in the EX7 Liberator set. 1 copy of the Lady Devimon X Antibody. Has the on-play when digivolving effect to inflict an opponent's Digimon with the end of attack effect and delete this Digimon. Another great pressure tool to stop your opponent from potentially attacking with a Digimon, unless they want to risk losing a massive stack they've built. And correct me if I'm wrong, I highly doubt your opponent will be able to prevent the deletion through most protection effects, since it's now their own Digimon's effect causing it to delete itself after the attack. It's pretty good. One really pesky effect comes to mind that this will definitely counter, and that's Partition. But again, really strong effect. Since this is an X form of an existing Digimon, it's a no-brainer. We want to get full value of this card's strength by digivolving our base form Lady Devimon into it, which now gives us access to playing out a Wale and Zerdruken token Digimon to our area. A 5,000 DP level 4 purple Digimon with blocker and retaliation. The inherited effect is also quite interesting. During your opponent's turn, if any of their Digimon is deleted, you may play 1 level 4 or lower Digimon purple card from our trash without paying the cost. Our starter deck Ganomon is the perfect target for this ability. It also combos great with the starter deck Mastemon's All Turns effect to delete an opponent's Digimon equal to or less than the level of the Digimon you play by effect. Overall, great board control potential. This is for sure a tech choice. While it is a level 5 purple Digimon which is needed to DNA into a Mastemon, you can only do so during your active turn if you choose to use this one as a DNA material. You unfortunately can't use Lady Devimon X Antibody as a target for your Blast DNA during your opponent's turn during counter-targeting, since it isn't a Lady Devimon in exact name. Other than digivolving on top of its own regular self, it can only digivolve off of a purple level 4, meaning our starter Ganomon Patamon is the only one capable of doing so, leaving our EX6 version off the table. Time to finally serve the main course of the deck. This list utilizes a total of 7 Mastemon, each with its own unique abilities to counterplay and maintain a strong lead in terms of board presence. And what better way than to start it off with the newest addition to our menu. 2 copies of new promo Mastemon from the BT21 Illustration Celebration Pack. Gives us access to 1 security recovery on initial digivolving. Then if you DNA digivolve, you can now place any 1 Digimon or Tamer card to the top or bottom of the respective player's security stack, and your opponent trashes their top security card. Definitely a welcomed addition to the deck. Finally gives the deck a great counterplay against Tamer-reliant decks, as well as potentially gaining a second extra recovery by placing our own Digimon into our own security stack. We also have a once per turn, when digivolving, when attacking effect. By trashing the top card of our security stack, we may play 1 purple or yellow Digimon with 6,000 DP or less from our hand or trash without paying the cost. This Mastemon does so much, it's actually a bit overwhelming. As strong as it is, however, this new Mastemon can potentially be detrimental to ourselves as well. Though playing a whole new Digimon out for free is amazing in itself, it also does potentially put ourselves in a dangerous situation of having less security lead. This Mastemon definitely feels more suited for ending games rather than playing in the early game. The way I see it, if I'm reducing my own security in order to play out an extra Digimon, it would absolutely be because I plan to combo to win within that turn to do so. 2 copies of Starter Deck Mastemon. Now, most players I've spoken with seem to have been convinced that this version of this card is no longer needed and are going all in on the promo variant. However, for me, I still see a whole lot of value in still playing this version. Unlike its promo counterpart, we get to search our security stack directly for Digimon to play, which also gives us security knowledge as well. The All Turns effect to delete our opponent's Digimon whenever we play a Digimon by effect is also still very powerful and would be a waste not to utilize it. More control, the better. And for our final dish in our 3-course Mastemon meal is, of course, the EX6 Mastemon Ace. Considerably the strongest Mastemon at our disposal. Lets us play out any level 5 or lower Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel trait Digimon from our hand or trash without paying the cost. Then, if we DNA Digivolve, we get to place any 1 other Digimon into the respective player's security stack at the bottom, and your opponent then trashes security cards from their stack until they have 4 remaining. Ratios for these are completely up to you as a player. This ratio has been working pretty well for me currently. However, if I were to make some changes, I'd honestly sub out 1 copy of the promo for another ace. Finishing off our megas will be 1 copy of BT21 Shine Greymon Burst Mode Ace, served up hot with a whopping 15,000 DP. It's when Digivolving Effect lets you play out any Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Afterwards, 1 of your opponent's Digimon gets a minus 5,000 DP inflicted on it for every Tamer you have in play. You lose out on the Alliance Inherited effect once you go into Burst Mode. However, we can still do some major damage when attacking by suspending up to 2 of our yellow Tamers. This Digimon gains +1 security attack for each of those Tamers we suspend. Giving us access to 3 security checks at 15,000 DP is huge and gets us that much closer to ending the game in our favor. As far as tech choices for counterplays go, I ultimately came to the conclusion that this card is much better suited for my playstyle and the deck itself overall. Now granted, several players still may utilize the EX for Shine Greymon Ruin Mode, but with how efficiently and effectively this deck can now just control the board with its several methods of deletion and outright removal with the Mastemon themselves, setting up a minus 5,000 DP blanket over your opponent's area at the potential cost of 5 whole memory feels unideal. Ruin Mode ultimately really only stops a lesser Digimon from staying on the board, and in the end, just deletes itself. Previous iterations of this deck, I did use both Shine Greymon, but being put in a spot to where I had to choose, I chose the Ace with 0 hesitation. Now don't get the idea that I don't think Ruin Mode is a great card for the deck. It's still a very strong staple card in almost every purple color deck. I personally just no longer feel the need to play it anymore. Covering our Tamers, Not going to spend too much time on these since by now you should all know how these cards work and what they're in the deck for. 2 copies of BT21 Mirai Mikagura. Gains us an extra memory at the start of our turn, no strings attached. Allows us to play out a counterpart Anjumon or Lady Devimon, depending when we digivolve into either of the two while we have only 1 or fewer Digimon at the time of evolution. 3 copies of EX6 Mirai Mikagura. You can suspend this specific Mirai anytime a Holy Beast, Archangel, or Fallen Angel trait Digimon is played to gain 1 memory back. Then, 1 of your Digimon may digivolve into a Anjumon or Lady Devimon from trash with the evolution cost reduced by 1. Meant to combo with the Gatomon in the deck, works especially well with the starter deck Gatomon because it allows you to evolve for free since the Gatomon itself will further reduce the evolution cost of an Archangel or Fallen Angel trait Digimon by 2. The end of turn once per turn effect also gives you access to DNA Digivolve. This allows you to take 2 of your Digimon already on your field into DNA Digivolve into 1 in your hand. Great tool to have if you don't have immediate access to the starter deck Gatomon's inherited skill. Went back to using 1 copy of BT8 Kari Kamiya. As mentioned previously, Mastemon struggles with memory efficiency, so being able to start our turn at 3 minimum is very much needed. Also has the during your turn effect to suspend and gain a memory when a security card is added to our stack. Alrighty, option cards. One of my favorite segments in any Digimon card game deck profile. Options are always flexible and vary from player to player. These are my preferred choices of cards and ratios, so if you don't agree with any of them or they just aren't to your taste, feel free to move things around or use other options. If there's an option that you use in your personal Mastemon deck and don't see it here, let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear your reasonings and insight on your choices. 1 copy of BT7 Calling from the Darkness, an absolute must-have for your deck in my opinion. Has the main effect to delete 1 of our Digimon. Then, we can return up to 2 purple Digimon cards from our trash back to our hand. It's important to have a way to recycle our Mastemon in order to constantly play them out, as well as getting other vital cards to start up our combos again, like the Gatomons. I am also obligated to mention this ruling every time we talk about Calling from the Darkness. Yes, you have to delete a Digimon if you have one present at the time of playing Calling from the Darkness. If you don't, you just whiff that effect and move on to the next, which is to return up to 2 purple Digimon cards from the trash back to hand. No, you do not have to delete a Digimon in order to return up to 2 purple Digimon cards from the trash to hand. Deleting a Digimon is not a requirement for the secondary effect of this card. This card is worded as 2 different and totally separate effects. Yes, you can only return up to 1 purple Digimon card from the trash back to hand if you so choose to, even if there are multiple purple Digimon cards in trash. The card states up to 2, which means you grab at maximum 2. And if you still don't believe me, I got official Digimon judges on speed dial to tell you otherwise. Like, not to be that guy, but if you as a player still don't know how this option card works at this point in time of Digimon card game's lifespan, you're just a bad player, dog. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It sucks to suck, I know. Still, I know I misplay at times, but never on Calling from the Darkness. It's not hard to understand or comprehend, guys. Let's go, let's pick it up. Anyway, moving on to our other option cards, we got 1 copy of Yellow Scramble. Reason it's the yellow one instead of the purple one, the mid to top ends are more yellow. You'll mostly be using this on the EX6 Gatomon for a cheaper evolution into Anjumon or potentially going into a burst ace without passing turn. Sometimes you just have to have a Mastemon to hard evolve into and you want to try to reduce that. It comes up rarely, but sometimes the best plays usually make you do so. 3 copies of Chaos Degradation. Personally, anything less than 3 feels bad. I tend to see it more in security at 3 copies anyway. It comes up a lot against decks that avoid Digimon effects. Overall, still a very strong option card and can potentially get you out of a losing situation. Played normally from the hand, you can send one of your opponent's Digimon to either the bottom or top of their security, and then they trash the top card of the security. When it triggers in security, however, it essentially does the same thing, but you just don't get that top of security trash. And for our final option card, it's going to be 1 copy of Final Excalibur. For just 3 cost, this card allows us to unsuspend 1 Angel, Archangel, or 3 Great Angel straight Digimon. Amazing finisher. Lets you basically get that extra check-in for a lethal hit into your opponent's life. This card is even more powerful considering we have access to the Alliance ability. Security effect is just as good. If your opponent triggers it on check, you recover 1 and then add it to your hand. So you're guaranteed to see this card within a game. Secondary part of the main effect doesn't really apply to this deck since we no longer use the Diminimon, but if you do, the card is just that much more cracked. And there you have it, my new and improved Mastemon deck for the BT21 format. At the current moment, this is the strongest Mastemon has ever been as a deck. More support has been steadily released for the deck, and everyone is highly anticipating even more with the BT22 Cyber Eden set for a July 2025 release this year. So until then, Mastemon still has a long way to go before it can truly find itself in the upper echelons of Tier 1 decks currently in the meta. But that can all change, and that is solely dependent on you, the player. Just like me, you and I both want Mastemon to have its time in the spotlight and finally get the recognition it deserves. So until that day comes, let's keep playing and improve ourselves as players, together in the Digimon card game. Until next time, you all be well, be safe, and as always, be hungry for more. This is the High Score Chef, signing off.